Hello and welcome back to my channel where we talk about different issues of bilingualism. My name is Denis Zubalov and here's my assistant Bob, who's going to help us with really tough questions. Alright, so today we're going to talk about different challenges that are related to the maintenance of heritage language in a bilingual family. Let's go! So first of all, we have to know the very basic issue that is relevant to child rearing. Limited input inevitably leads to limited output. So what does that mean? So the more we talk to the child, the better for the child. Child will develop communicative skills better and more rapidly. So far so good. Let's move on. So those kids whose home language input is from limited sources, for example, only from parents or only from one parent in case when parents are divorced. So these may often lead to limited home language input. And one-to-one kids have few opportunities to participate in conversations with both parents simultaneously, which could affect the quality of family communication dynamics. Another important issue to take into consideration here is that it takes more time for kids to develop their skills, for example, writing skills, reading skills, etc. And kids who grow with more than one language, it is expected that they require more time to develop these skills in different languages. And as a result, there is always competition between time needed for heritage language learning on the one hand and leisure activities on the other. So leisure activities can be anything from sports to different hobbies that the child may have. In the time of globalization where languages are dying out, it is very important to maintain the heritage language, and it's absolutely vital. It's of paramount importance to be able to maintain the language of the family. However, the reality dictates something different. What is that? So, both kids and parents often have to pay a considerable price in order to be able to maintain the heritage language. For example, kids often have to trade their leisure activities with language learning activities. For example, kids go to school every day from Monday to Friday, and at the weekend they have to also go to a weekend school in order to learn the language of their parents, the language of their culture, ancestral culture, the language of their community. So basically kids end up having no weekends at all. So basically they have to go to school every day. Parents have to sacrifice leisure for exposing their kids with heritage language. These may lead to different stressful situations for kids. So, and when it all amounts to high level of different stress, it may cause family tension and even conflicts within the family. Conflicts between parents themselves, because not all parents agree to follow this language strategy, but also it may cause tensions between parents and kids. And as a result, these may evoke negative emotions towards heritage language on the kids' side. And as a result, kids may develop quite negative attitudes towards their heritage language, and this is not good. Okay, now I would like you to pause this video now and write your comment below. Write your idea. How should parental expectation promote or discourage kids in heritage language learning? So I would like to hear your ideas. Write those comments and I'm going to check that out. Okay, according to Pillar 2002, the quest for perfect balance multilingual kids can result in both parental disappointment and kids' sense of failure. And this also may discourage them from language learning, from heritage language learning. And forging ahead without adequate planning, proper assessment of family-specific situations and support will definitely add stress to any family. Now let's move on to different strategies that promote multilingual family welfare. Do you agree? All right, let's move on. All right, so what are the main strategies for promoting multilingual family welfare? So basically, what we have to take into account is number one, first, careful and adequate planning. How communication would take place in the family is of vital importance. First, we have to make sure that all members have got positive relationships with each other. Second, there is a capacity for resolving different conflicting situations. And third, these all would definitely strengthen the family cohesion, which would contribute to healthy communication styles. Okay, now let's focus on the communication between parents, and these may include the following. For example, you have to clarify motives. And these may include the following. You have to explain to yourself what are the reasons why you would like to raise a bilingual or multilingual child. Is it for language maintenance? Is it for heritage language maintenance? Why? Do you feel that you have to pass it on to the next generation? Is it important for the child's identity, cultural identity, ethnic identity, religious identity? Is it important for the child to be able to speak to his or her grandparents and extended family members? Or is it important for the child's academic career or general cognitive development? Or maybe it's important for his or her career opportunities in the future, for example, in future studies or future job, or traveling flexibility, for example, being able to travel to different countries or going back to the country of origin and be able to speak a language there. For example, I remember my best friend in Cyprus, Pambos, hi Pambos. So his mom is of Thai origin, but she didn't teach him to speak Thai language for different reasons, mainly because some teachers told her not to speak Thai language at home because he wouldn't be able to speak Greek properly in Cyprus. So basically, he can't speak the Thai language properly. And as a result, when he went to Thailand with his mom, it was a very awkward situation when he met his extended family members like aunts, cousins, uncles, and he couldn't speak to them. He doesn't speak English and they also don't speak Greek. So basically there was a huge communication breakdown. And can you imagine how dreadful that is, how dramatic it is, not being able to communicate with your relatives? And this is really, really bad. And of course, it's kind of very frustrating. Okay, now let's get back. So these questions may help parents to clarify their motives, negotiate their differences, and reach mutual agreeable child-rearing decisions. Another important issue to take into consideration here is that parents' own language competence has a direct impact on the proficiency of their kids. For example, if one parent is not proficient in one language, so this may have an effect on the kids' language behavior and language proficiency. So, for example, if parents who want their kids to reach a certain heritage language proficiency, additional support and input are essential to make that happen. Now, what do you think, what additional support do you think could parents resort to? I'm going to give you some hints. First, it's important for the family to decide what kind of communication system they would follow. First of all, they have to decide early on, much in advance, what kind of family communication system they will adopt. So deciding early on will be quite beneficial, preferably before kids are born, because first, it will give parents time to think through pros and cons of their choices, and in this way they will be able to modify these choices without direct impact on their kid. Second, the system parents choose is likely to stay once it becomes a habit, which can help ensure its early attainment and avoid frustration later. Okay, that's all for now. Thanks for watching, but before you go, I would like to give you some homework, which you have to send it to me by email. So basically, you have to answer the following question. What should or could be done in order to attend to children's emotional, developmental, and individual needs? And how could we foster positive attitudes towards the heritage language maintenance? And what about parents' needs? Okay, that's all for now. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.